All right, I'm the Fly Rate Master, and well, sometimes auto repair can be a little tedious. You know, if you've ever gotten 3 brake jobs in a row sold and you're just sitting there going through the motions, I mean, literally, I can zone out and do a brake job and do a good brake job. But it's tedious and boring. I don't like it. Part of the reason why I've always worked for independent shops is variety. Different problems coming in, not seeing the exact same thing over and over and over again. I'm sure a lot of dealer techs love the consistency and knowing exactly how to make, massive amounts of hours on flat rate. I'd be bored to tears unless I was always getting the cool, interesting problem childs, but, chances are I'd probably be hating my life if I was doing that under warranty. But anyway, I digress. But let's talk about ways to kind of upset the mediocrity of day-to-day life in a shop. A lot of times you'll get the exact same job over and over again. If you get one job, you get another 2 of them. Usually what happens, oil cooler is bad on this, Jeep. Oh, there's another oil cooler. Oh, there's the 3rd one. Never fails. Whenever you get one repair, it usually follows, you get a couple more. And usually that's when it gets really kind of tedious for me, at least. I've done, I'm on my 2nd. When I get to the 3rd one, the problem for me is just like that brake mentality. You start going through and just zoning out and you're just going. And it's real easy to, make mistakes when you're doing that, 1. And 2, it's really, really boring. How do you offset that? Well, one way is time yourself. Make yourself a goal to be a little bit faster than the last one you did. And obviously you had to time the other 2, but, you should have a general idea of how long a job took you, uninterrupted, of course. But if, you're going into a job knowing exactly what you used last time, the tools you need will be readily available. Like that oil cooler. Torque wrench will already be set for that torque value for the oil cooler bolts. You just got to torque them. Now, it's easy to pick up a couple tenths just from the repetitive nature of it. But in that same note, you can't be cutting corners. That's an easy way for me just to motivate myself, is just try to get a little bit better, a little bit more efficient. But thinking about alternate ways to do the repair, not sacrificing quality, we're talking about just more efficient ways to do the repair. Not having to undo that hose at the back of the intake that always stuck like Chuck. Think about it. That'll give you motivation on the next job to think about what's a better way to do this that's not in the service information. But think about that. Anytime you go into a job, think about new and interesting ways to do the repair. Again, not sacrificing quality, but think about ways that you can improve on every job that you've done before. Because after you've done a couple, you find a few more ways to speed up a little bit. Instead of undoing that, just pull it over to the side. For instance, instead of disconnecting all the connectors on the lower intake, disconnect half of them and then flip it over to the side. Just little ways to increase your efficiency and give you a little bit of mental gymnastics to think about when you're doing the repair. Giving yourself motivation to get a little bit faster, a little bit better, not compromising quality. I'm going to say this a bunch in this video. We're not talking about, not torquing down the oil cooler. We're not talking about not cleaning up the mess that's in the valley. We're not talking about not replacing gaskets. We're not talking about cutting corners. We're talking about finding slightly more efficient ways to do things. It's simple as that. Letting your mind go where it will go. Like, for instance, sometimes you find folding the intake manifold over to the side is more of a pain in the butt than it's worth. But you found that out. The time saved by doing that just kind of annoyed you because it kept falling back on you. Stuff like that. But it's a good way to just not go into that, shut down, robot mode, and make a big mistake. Because that's where you're going to make it, is when you're on autopilot, just like when you're driving home and all of a sudden you go, oh, I just passed my exit. It's a good example because you were basically on autopilot. Yeah, your mind was paying attention, but you really weren't. And well, you drove by your exit. Just like if you're on autopilot fixing a car, you might forget to torque something that'll bite you in the butt later, come back or something like that. So put your mind to work while you're doing these repetitive jobs just to make sure you do a slightly better job, because a slightly better job or a slightly more efficient job is a lot better than a mess up, a comeback. So hope you found this video helpful. As always, thanks for watching. I am the Flat Rate Master.